Hello, chismosas y chismosos, and welcome back to Bay Area Housewife of True Crime, where I like to tell the stories of the real cucuys and lloronas of the world. I'm Audrey, a paralegal turned stay-at-home mom that loves true crime. The cases I cover are wild, topics may be triggering, viewer and listener discretion is strongly advised. The people mentioned are innocent until proven guilty in court. With all that being said, grab your hot Cheetos and let's get started on today's case. According to the FBI, in any given year in the United States, on average, there are about 450 cases of filicide. Filicide is the legal term for when a parent unalives their own child. The thought of a parent, even more so a mother, hurting their own child whom they created with their own bodies seems unfathomable. It goes against everything the world portrays motherhood to look like and how it should be. Unfortunately, there are real-life cucuys and lloronas on a daily basis that are so sick in the head that they get so overwhelmed with the daily normal day-to-day behaviors of a small child that instead of taking a deep breath, going on a walk, asking for help, or whatever, they decide that their only option to stop the baby's crying is to take away the life they themselves brought into the world. On January 19th, 2010, 22-year-old Alexandra Tobias was living her best life playing Farmville on Facebook when she was interrupted by her 3-month-old baby Dylan's cries. This real-life llorona could not believe that her 3-month-old baby would exhibit such normal behavior, being a baby and all, that she decided to make him stop crying by shaking him to death. Alexandra Tobias was born on August 11th, 1988. Her parents divorced when she was 5, and on St. Patrick's Day of 2008, Alexandra came home from school and found her mom dead inside their home. Before she died of heart disease, Alexandra's mom had a history of mental illness. Specifically, she expressed wanting to die and was very vocal about it. She tried unaliving herself a couple of times and ended up in a mental hospital because of her attempts. Not surprisingly, this affected Alexandra tremendously and internalized her mother's wish to leave this earth as meaning Alexandra herself was not worthy. Growing up with both mommy and daddy issues is hard, believe me, I know. But we do not all turn out to be baby killers. Alexandra also resented her baby. In her sick, twisted head, it was her baby's fault that her life didn't go as planned. When she graduated Wolfson High School in Jacksonville, Florida, she wanted to go to college and party like all of her other friends. Instead, she found herself pregnant with her off and on again boyfriend, E.J. Edmondson. After Dylan Lee Edmondson was born, Alexandra battled immense postpartum depression and thoughts of suicide. Her only escape from the depths of her own living hell were Farmville and the unprescribed Xanax pills she would take to calm her nerves. If you don't know already, social media is all a perception of what people want you to think of them. As such, Alexandra created a social media profile for her baby and documented his milestones, seemingly proud and happy to be a loving and doting mom. Even creepier was this real-life llorona's new Facebook group she became a part of. Just 1 month before killing her baby, the Facebook group was dedicated specifically to those opposed to child abuse. With Alexandra's social media post, you'd be surprised to learn and believe that just 3 weeks before the filicide, Alexandra and EJ were arrested on domestic violence charges. And when a child is involved around a domestic violence incident, as such, these two idiots, the Department of Child Services was supposed to be informed. In this case, the Department of Child Services said they received an incomplete report. Nevertheless, Alexandra was given 6 months probation for the domestic violence offense, in addition to anger management courses. After shaking her 14-week-old baby, she was happy when he stopped crying. She went on and kept playing her game. She even went outside for a smoke. Now that she had gathered her thoughts, reality started to set in, and she frantically called her baby daddy and then 911, saying that her son Dylan was unresponsive. Despite being transported to the hospital and the efforts of the medical professionals, 3-month-old baby Dylan had succumbed to his injuries of bruising of the skull, bleeding from the brain, and a broken leg. From the hospital, baby Dylan was being treated for injuries caused by this real-life Llorona. She managed to sneak in a call to her neighbor. You see, she asked her neighbor to go to her house so that they can hide her pipe and her precious marijuana. Alexandra told the authorities, and I quote, "I honestly can't recall the actual incident itself, but when it comes down to it, I had taken a good handful of some Xanax. I guess I came to realize that something wasn't right, and I didn't know it was in my arms. I realized that something I was holding before that was moving was no longer moving," unquote. Forensic psychologist Paula Martin explained that by calling her baby it and something was Alexandra's way of trying to detach herself from the harsh situation. Although her virtual kettle was flourishing, her real life was in shambles and everything was crashing down. On February 1st, 2011, Alexandra Tobias was sentenced to 50 years in prison for second-degree murder. We've reached the end of today's episode of Bay Area Housewife of True Crime. Thank you so much for coming down the rabbit hole where I currently live. As always, I accept and respect your opinions. I welcome all comments, questions, inquiries, case suggestions. Hit me up at yayareahousewife@gmail.com. And no, it's not a typo. It's Yay Area, like E40 said. Don't forget your hot Cheetos. And I'll see you chismosas y chismosos in the next. Adios.